What is going on, Jets fans? We are live here at Jets training camp. It wrapped up, my first time in the building. Finally, here's what it looks like from my view. All Jets fans are trying to get some autographs. We got Garrett Wilson getting some extra time on the field, doing some footwork, doing some nice extra. So my biggest takeaways from today, it was pretty even down the middle regarding who won, offense versus defense. Rodgers had some really a lot of highlighting plays. Offensive line looked phenomenal. Defense made some plays. There's a lot of standouts for me. I got to process all this and kind of like take some notes and then give you guys a more in-depth breakdown. I'm actually going to an office space right near the facility, and I'm going to be live from that office space on the Huddle, BetUS TV at 3 p.m. And then I'm going to head back to Long Island after that. But it was a pleasure to be here. My biggest takeaways probably is that the offensive line looks like a completely different unit. I mean, I'm used to the offensive line for the New York Jets struggling early on in camp. That's not the case here, folks. Olu was dominating it with the second team. Braden McGregor had no chance against him. Tyron Smith looked phenomenal. The only issue with the offensive line is definitely Joe Tippmann still has some high snap issues. I am not concerned with that. There's only one really, really bad one and then a couple just not so good ones. But outside of that, man, ABT's healthy. Morgan Moses is still holding out of team drills. He's working his way back in, dealing with that pec injury. But outside of that, I saw a lot of holes open up for Bree Hall, a lot of holes for Braylon Allen. Also, Braylon Allen looks massive, bro. He looks so big in person. The pictures don't do it justice. I'm telling you guys that right now. Also, Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers continues to talk a lot on the sidelines. I tweeted out videos of it and watch the media take those videos and run some crazy narratives. But the reality is this. Aaron Rodgers is coaching up Garrett Wilson. He sees something special in this kid. He sees somebody that could be, in his words, the best receiver in football. And the way that you do that is you put your whole focus on him. That's what Rodgers is doing. He's looking at Garrett, and maybe they have some miscommunications here and there. They want to get on the same page. They're passionate. They're competitors. They're teammates. They're brothers, okay? So if anybody tries to spin the video I took of Rodgers and Garrett Wilson talking on the sideline into some negative thing, they're morons. Just say, straight up with that. But there is one player in particular that I have to talk about who definitely lived up to the hype, and that's the rookie, Quantez Stiggers, okay? He is clamping up. Every single time he went out there, I was keeping my eyes close on him, and he was locking it down. Tyler Harrell, the undrafted free agent from Miami, Quantez had him locked down. Every time the ball was thrown his way, he was locked down in coverage. Very, very impressive stuff. He has fluid hips. He just has an overall poise to the game that you can tell that he has something special here. The Jets know how to develop young players in the secondary. Also, Jalen Key, the other rookie in the secondary, Mr. Irrelevant, looked really good as well, getting a lot of time with Quantez. Those two players are locking down the secondary in the for the backups, and that's also something I noticed. The third-string defense completely dominates the third-string offense every single time. It's not even close. But when it comes to the second team, Tyrod Taylor looks really good, man. He throws really beautiful deep balls. It's like moonshots. He threw one to Malik Taylor down the middle of the field for a 40-yard gain. There's another play that Tyrod Taylor had that was really, really fluid. He looks mobile. He looks accurate. It's cool that the Jets have two legit men at quarterback, that we're not looking at these, quarterbacks at camp and we're hoping that they can be good. No, we have two solid quarterbacks. Unfortunately, Jordan Travis is still not practicing. I would love to see what he can look like. But at the end of the day, the Jets got two really good quarterbacks, and it is an absolute joy to watch. When it comes to Allen Lazard started off practice. The first play on 7-on-7, he had a drop pass. But the very next play, Aaron Rodgers went right back to him and threw a 50-50 ball, back shoulder, and Allen Lazard came down with a phenomenal contested grab. And Rodgers keeps feeding it to Lazard. He had another really good throw over the middle to Lazard for a first down. Rodgers pumped his fist of excitement, and Rodgers went up to Lazard and hyped him up. So listen, I know Jets fans don't really like Lazard, and he had a really, really bad season last year for the Jets, but I think that Rodgers is really trying to get Lazard confidence, and Lazard right now is playing the role that Mike Williams will play when he's healthy. Let's be honest with ourselves, that tall receiver that's going to go up there and get those 50-50 back shoulder opportunities. But Lazard looked good. I'm not going to lie. I mean, he had one drop, and then there was another play at the end of practice where Rodgers threw a deep ball down the right sideline, one-on-one, Sauce Gardner versus Lazard. Guess who won that rep? Yeah, Sauce Gardner. I mean, nobody is catching balls on Sauce, literally nobody. Including Garrett Wilson, by the way. Every time Garrett Wilson makes a play, it's usually on DJ Reed. But outside of that, we saw a really good play from Tyler Conklin, and it just felt like a tie. But at the end of the day, the defense won. The end of the practice, it was a drive the field drill, 2-minute drill, and they were, simulating an opportunity where they spike it, and there's like 30 seconds on the clock, and the defense held it down, 4th and 15. There was a sack on Quinnen Williams, had a sack on Aaron Rodgers as well. Tyron Smith looks phenomenal. I'm just trying to listen. When you watch practice, there's so many things that you try to remember, but I appreciate you guys big time. Don't forget to hit the like button, folks. I'll be going to I'm going to grab some lunch right now and then head to the office space I rented out near the facility, and then I'm probably going to make a deeper video or maybe just go live again. Ruckert, how come we don't hear anything about Ruckert? Ruckert is doing well. He's usually used for blocking, bang. Tyler Conklin is the guy that Rodgers keeps feeding. Another play that stood out to me that I just remembered, it was man coverage, and get used to this, Jets fans. This is what you can expect this year for the New York Jets offense, okay? It was man coverage, and Aaron Rodgers recognized it, and he immediately gets the ball out of his hands and dumps it off to Bree Hall. And Bree Hall had a one-on-one with Quincy Williams, and he simply just ran right by Quincy. Quincy had no chance, and Brees was just galloping down the sideline for a gain of 40 yards before Tony Adams knocked him out of bounds. So that is why Bree Hall is projected to be one of the best players in the entire NFL this year on offense, because the Jets are going to get him the ball in every which way possible. Not only did he look good on that play, but every time Brees touched the ball in the run game, the offensive line had a lot of holes. So that's something I really noticed. Their Jets are getting creative with how they can get the ball to Bree Hall. I also noticed a really unique type of play that we haven't seen last year. It was they put Garrett Wilson in motion, right? So follow me here. It's hard to kind of paint the picture. But Garrett Wilson was on the right side. He went in motion to look like he was doing an end around. They hiked the ball, handed it off to Brees, and then Rodgers faked an end around to Garrett. And even I was fooled. I thought it was an end around to Garrett Wilson. I was like, oh, that's creative. But nope, Bree Hall got the ball, and he ran down for a 10-yard gain. Or maybe that was Braylon Allen that play. I forgot. But my point is that Hackett is diving deep in his bag and trying to get creative with these run opportunities and all that. Something else I noticed that is definitely something that you love to see. Aaron Rodgers is holding this team accountable. Whenever they make a mistake, Rodgers is immediately on the I don't know if you guys can hear me. Everyone's yelling at Sauce because they all want autographs from Sauce Gardner right now. Look at that. All Jets fans lined up for autographs. I love it. But every single time Aaron has an incomplete pass or a miscommunication, he is yelling, bro. He is holding these players accountable. Like Jason Brownlee, for example, ran a route wrong, and Rodgers told him, like, this is where you got to be. Even Malachi Corley, he went up there and coached him up. So Aaron Rodgers is not just our quarterback, folks. He's our coach. He's one of the coaches on offense. So that's something you love to see. When's the last time we had a quarterback that can literally, like, hold the offense accountable and actually can step up and be a leader? We've never had that. Zach Wilson wasn't that. Sam Darnold wasn't that. The list goes on and on and on, Jets fans. It's pretty cool to see that we have a quarterback that continues to hold his players accountable. And he's having fun out there, man. So that's really my breakdown. Jermaine Johnson looked really fast and was getting to the quarterback pretty efficiently. C.J. Mosley, Quincy Williams, linebackers. And I think the safety unit is actually an intriguing position to watch. I like our safeties. I really do. I think Tony Adams and Chuck Clark with Ashton Davis rotating in. Watch out for Jalen Key, the Mr. Irrelevant, to make a name for himself in the preseason. He was very, very impressive to me. He looks fluid. He looks confident out there. Him and Stiggers, man, I think the Jets may have found two. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I like Jalen Key and I like Quantez as the two rookies in the secondary for the New York Jets, for sure. Jarek Bernard Converse, also this is the first time we're seeing JBC in training camp. Remember last year during his rookie season, he was not practicing at all. He was injured. JBC could definitely make a name for himself. I think the Jets have depth at that spot. He finished all practice with an interception on Tyrod Taylor. So the defense basically won the day today, for sure. So that's really my thoughts of it. Big standouts, Quantez, for sure. Tyler Conklin making a name of himself. Garrett Wilson continues to shine. I mean, every time Garrett touches the ball, the guy just makes people miss with ease. He's so fluid. He's so creative with the ball in his hands. You absolutely love it. Also, take a note of this. Malachi Corley played a lot with Aaron Rodgers today. The Jets are definitely trying to get the rookie comfortable with the starting quarterback. With Xavier Gipson injured, it's giving Malachi an increased opportunity to play with the ones. The Jets were trying to get him the ball. Malachi had a phenomenal one-handed grab to start off practice. He may or may not have been in bounds. I couldn't really tell, but there's a video from Let's Talk Jets Radio that made it look like he was in bounds, so maybe he was. So Corley's getting involved. Braylon Allen is a refrigerator. Tariq Cohen has some juice. Another takeaway I also wanted to say is the kickoff. The new kickoff rules are very interesting, and I saw them for the first time today. They look crazy. I mean, they can't move until the ball touches the turf or the player touches the football, right? The defender is trying to tackle them. And it seems like there's going to be a lot of touchdowns this year across the NFL for kickoffs, man. It's a very interesting rule. It's a big adjustment. I can't wait for the preseason to see it actually, out there and see what it looks like in game action. Brant Boyer spoke to the media before practice, and he said the preseason is going to be a big, big tell of what it's going to look like for the Jets special teams unit regarding that. But outside of that, man, it was kind of a stale. You can say the defense won the day, but Aaron Rodgers definitely looks mobile. He looks athletic still. He's got that arm. I mean, every time he throws the ball comes out of his hand in like 0.3 seconds on a rifle. He was feeding Allen Lazard the most today, and Allen Lazard made the most of his plays. I mean, he had one bad drop, and outside of that, he had a drop where Sauce was in coverage at the end of the practice. But hey, Sauce Gardner is so good. I mean, you can't do anything on Sauce. That's for sure. But at the end of the day, the defense won at the end, but the offense still made some plays. The run game looked good. The overall energy of this team feels different. The overall energy of this team feels different. It feels like they're out here and they know what needs to be done. There's less I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of just like a feeling type of thing where last year Hard Knocks was here. There was a lot of eyes on the Jets. This year they know what's at stake. They understand what needs to get done. Another takeaway is Javon Kinlaw looks like a massive human being. We saw him, spoke to the media yesterday, and his diet is ridiculous. He's huge. The Jets' defensive line rotation looks great. And I think the Jets' depth at offensive line is another thing I'm very impressed by. Olu looked phenomenal. As I say Olu, I'm pretty sure I'm looking at him doing extra work right now. No, that's Olu and here I can flip my camera and show you guys. That's Olu and what's his name? Carter Warren right now doing some extra drills all the way back there. You probably cannot see. That's my little finger, but Olu was a wall, bro. I'm telling you right now, Jets fans, we have two veteran tackles this year that are very good. Morgan Moses and Tyron Smith, and we have, you can say, three young tackles that are going to provide depth for this team, and Max Mitchell, Carter Warren, and Olu. I love that. The Jets have three tackles that are young to learn behind the two veterans. I think this is the best offensive tackle unit the Jets have ever had for a long, 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 long time. Another thing about the defense, Will McDonald definitely flashed. There was one rep. Zachary says Will McDonald beat. Yes, I do remember this. Will McDonald looks electric out there. He has this unique limber, this unique type of bend that is not coachable. So Will McDonald flashed. Oh, another defensive lineman who dominated today is Solomon Thomas. Solomon Thomas was probably the best defensive player there is, okay? Best defensive player of the day was probably Solomon Thomas, in my opinion. But yeah, that's going to be my biggest takeaways, folks. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way out. I'm going to head to get lunch right now and then head to the office space I rented out. And then we're probably going to go live again to break everything down in more detail. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button. We're live from Jets Camp. I'll be here on Saturday with my dad and Jake Asman and the rest of the people. If I met you today, it was great to meet you. I'll see you guys next time. Peace and love as always. And let's go Jets. Woo!